In our everyday lives, we rarely think about our own culture, let alone others. In the fast-paced world that we live in, it's just not something that we have time for. This project forced me to take a step back and to examine the world through someone else's eyes and to see what they see. My research taught me about the experience, culture, worldview, religion, and life of military children. By reading information online as well as interviewing Casey Lay, I learned that yes, I grew up in a very different situation, but our lives are really not that different, and we're actually very similar people. In my online research, I read that many children of military families often experience psychological stress from the constant moving. When asked about the effects of frequent relocation, Casey explained that as a child and teenager, it was very difficult for her to cope with moving all the time. She said that, it was really hard for her to make friends and to start over every single time her father had to switch locations. I also asked her if she thought anything good came out of the relocation, and she said that she realized, as an adult, that she had many opportunities that children her age don't have to get to go see the world and to try different foods and to, just experience so much life at such a young age. She goes on to tell how grateful she is and told me about how many countries and how many states she's been to. She's been to 8 states and 3 different countries. And everywhere from Texas to Saudi Arabia, which are completely different. It's insane. Cuisine, depending on where she was at, obviously she was eating different foods because everywhere doesn't have the luxurious food that Kentucky has. So, she tried food from Asia and food from, well, not Asia, but Japan, food from Japan and, the different states and Saudi Arabia. And she said that her favorite was Asian food and that she absolutely adores sushi because of all the time she spent in Japan. She also goes on to talk about her education. And she said that her education wasn't the easiest part of being a military child. It was actually quite hard for her. She said that it was the most difficult part of the whole ordeal. She had to switch schools every year or every other year and switch states, which made an impact on the type of school that she ended up going to. She said that having a mom as a teacher really helped her, though, because it helped her to keep up with her schoolwork, and her mom really helped her to keep from falling behind. She said language barriers didn't really make it that difficult to learn because in many of the other countries she went to, they had English teachers that taught them. And she said that the curriculum was actually quite similar to what we have over here, basics of math and English. The only difference is in the countries where she was stationed, she had to learn their language as well. She said one of the hardest parts of school was obviously making friends, and that actually was because of the language barrier. She had other military kids in her classes that were from America or Great Britain, and she could speak with them easily, but when it came to talking to people who were native and spoke Arabic or Japanese, it was really difficult for her to make friends with people. She said that her religion and morals, they weren't really affected. So, in the sense that, she changed her religion or she changed her morals about something because of where she lived. But she did say that it made her realize how lucky she was to have the freedom of religion in our country. She said that many times, all the time in Saudi Arabia, when they wanted to practice Christianity, they had to sneak from house to house in order to, practice Christianity and to read the Bible. And she had to sneak her Bible out of her house because in Saudi Arabia you can be persecuted for actually practicing Christianity. She said that her morals didn't really change, but that was because they were taught by her parents. She said one of the biggest things that she realized was how much Americans take for granted, because they don't realize that, in other countries women can't leave the house on their own. They can't speak out against the government. Playgrounds are guarded by armed guards. And, we don't realize all of the freedoms that we have. We don't realize that we can speak out against our government. We don't realize that we can walk and roam the streets freely no matter what time of day it is. We don't realize the multitude of religions that we're allowed to practice. And, we don't appreciate that we're American, that we live in a country where we can just do whatever we want. To some extent, obviously there's laws and stuff, but, we have the freedom to petition and the freedom to, cannot even think of the word, we have many freedoms that other places don't have, and they don't allow their citizens to have. She said that many of her hobbies stay the same throughout, her traveling, and I actually read in one of the articles that I found that hobbies is actually, picking up certain hobbies is what helps a lot of children get through the relocation process, because no matter where they go, no matter what friends they lose, no matter what relationships are lost due to relocating, they always have those hobbies, and they always, they can always paint or, listen to music or, whatever to remind them of home and to remind them of their friends and their family. And so she said that she really enjoyed any kind of crafts, really, scrapbooking, collages, just different things like that throughout her childhood. In conclusion, researching another person's culture was extremely eye-opening. It taught me there's so many different people in the world, and they live so many different lives. And we need to, learn about their lives, learn about their culture, and learn to respect them. And we need to realize, all the freedoms that we do have in America, and realize that we are really lucky to live here, because not everywhere has the freedoms that we have. I think a lot of times people get caught up in politics or race issues or different things like that, but sometimes it's nice just to sit back and to see the world through someone else's eyes and to realize how much we have to be grateful for. Thank you, guys.